Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
You're looking
Oh,
good
hi.
and it's recording absolutely super. Leroy, it's good to have you
Good.
for
It's a pleasure.
as I said, we've been busy all day running around and getting organized for the big event. So
Yeah, I'm fine. Thanks, Ray. Fine. Life is good. Very good.
you are out of the country at the moment. You're away in a very hot place.
Yeah, I'm in the Dominican Republic.
Wow. You're a very lucky man because I've sort of got my jacket on now. It's sort of warm here, but to tell you, it's you know the story when
Yeah,
the
it's
rain
very
did
hot here.
stop, you know.
Yeah, it's very hot here.
The evening there at the moment,
Yeah, it's just gone 5 o'clock.
just gone 5 o'clock. The event is coming up. It's going to be on the 3rd. It's actually next Saturday. And we were delighted to
Right.
have Leroy here, who is originally the manager of the Dream Team. And he's going to have a few words with us about the great Jim Moore. So, Leroy, well, you must have one or two stories about the great Jim Moore.
He was a character. Let's put it that way. But such a nice man.
Unbelievable. And the amount of goodwill towards him and the amount of videos that we're after collecting over the last few weeks. Some stories you can tell and some stories you can't tell. But he definitely was flamboyant. And this whole idea of bringing a team to Mullingar must have been a huge event in your life because you stayed in Mullingar.
Yeah. There's one story that I've never forgotten is that we used to go and do the shopping in Buckley's Super
Right.
Value, and I remember we used to have about 10 trolleys because the boys, strong lads, they used to eat a lot, and I remember he used to send the money for shopping, and he didn't send it through this time, so so we were queuing up at the till
Right.
and got no money to pay them. So we've
Okay.
had to speak to Anne Buckley and explain to her, and then I think I phoned Martin and it got Martin to explain that yeah, they'll get paid and everything. So it was quite a fun thing because it was new to people seeing so many different nationalities walking around and doing that amount of shopping, you know. So that was one of the stories which stood out for
Now
me because
you
Jim was good in his own way, but sort of like he'd keep you on the edge when it came to that sort of thing.
No doubt. Now, as I say, you got the 50 quid a week, which was even a great thing as well. The main team itself, was there a mixture of Irish people and the English group on board, or what way did it end up working out? Was there many from Ireland on the main team then, the dream team?
Well, yeah, a couple players like because I bought over 20 players, I think it was.
Hmm.
Okay, so it was going to be very difficult for players to get in, but
Yeah,
to their attitude, and that was brilliant.
yeah.
Some players that weren't good enough trained, and
Mm.
and some of the time, a couple of them, would vomit or would be sick, and but that just shows their attitude was great, and
Yeah.
yeah, and some of them actually really really stood out, really did. I don't want to call names, but one or two of them stood out, and
They
it
know,
was a
they know them.
pleasure.
Do you,
Sorry?
they know themselves, the ones that did stand
Yeah.
out. But one question for you: do you think Jim Moore broke the mold by bringing the team from England to Mullingar, to maybe to Ireland as well? Has it been done before?
I don't think so. I think it's the first time it's actually happened. And there was a split parity about it because like you read the Westminster Examiner one week and some people they were interviewing on the streets were saying, oh no, this shouldn't happen, because they've taken over the
Yeah,
team and everything. And
yeah.
some said if it's going to help propel them into the future
Mm,
to be better,
mm,
yeah, because we only failed to get into the League of Ireland because of a couple things. very, very minute things,
Mm.
because it wasn't about the footballers, the soccer players, because the players I had were excellent, absolutely excellent.
Yeah.
And so it was minute things, like Kildare County got in, they were called Newbridge Town before. And they knew if they changed their name, it
Okay.
would broaden
The
Kildare
scope.
County as a bigger soccer bed,
Mm-hmm.
right? So Mullingar was just a small town. So
Okay.
I think the FAI were looking at that as a you know, where you're going to get, you can't just have 20 players, you need to have a bed of footballers,
Mm.
growing.
All coming up
And
all the time. Yeah.
unfortunate for us, Gaelic and hurling and rugby were the main sports in Ireland, in Mullingar.
Mm.
So we were really pressing hard, okay, and having to really battle
Mm.
to show people that, look, there's doors open. One of our players was a body double for Thierry Henry.
Wow.
He used to fly out to Italy and do the adverts. They wouldn't show his face; they'd show Thierry Henry's face and his
Right.
body. You
Wow.
know, so things like that. And also the same player, he got goal of the month on Sky Sports. In the FA Cup. He signed for Sheffield United actually, and he was loaned out to Scarborough, and he scored one of the best goals in the FA Cup for that round. So all in all, it was really, really good. There was a lot of good came out of it,
And
especially for the coaching side of it.
and as well as that, George then went on to do great things.
Yeah, George. As I said to you before, George, he was a character, because he was such a bubbly guy. He wanted to be good. He would do all the right things
Yeah.
that footballers do. You
Yeah.
know, he would sort of like be more interested in the soccer than the women or anything.
Yeah.
And George, as I said to you before, the only thing was wrong is fitness. He couldn't last 90 minutes at the
Right.
beginning. And I was having to take him off at 60 minutes. I knew when 60 minutes was up, he'd be coming off,
Right.
because
Yeah.
he was finding it tough.
Yeah.
The way we played and pressed and everything,
Mm.
it was very, very tough. But he's gone on. I'm very proud of him actually, because he's gone
Mm.
on, done all his coaching badges, passed them all, and now he's the proud part owner of Kettering Town Football Club, who play in the Conference League, I think, one of the Conference Leagues. So he's done really, really well. I'm really proud of him, and that just shows you what comes out of something which has been achieved.
I remember him telling me that he was ringing his mother on the phone, and asking her how to cook.
Yeah, it was quite strange because none of them, I think only one or two of the boys could cook, and the rest of them had no clue what to do. They were just
Oh.
sort of like testing, throwing things in the pan and everything, and it was really, really strange. But they could eat because that food, 400 euros worth of food, was finished in a few days. So it was incredible. But we were training 3 times a day,
Wow.
in the morning, in the afternoon, and in the evening.
And
So it just beggars you.
did you are you were big into the health food even at that time, I believe, that they had to eat
Yeah,
properly, like.
yeah. I thought, because it was bred into me, and I'd always understood about getting the 100% out of your body when you're playing,
Mm.
and what you need to do and what you need not to do. And these guys, it wasn't new to them, because a lot of them have been at professional clubs and that, and lost their way, and
Mm.
so they had to get used to it again. you know, going to bed at 9 o'clock 10 o'clock. I'm checking on their doors, making sure they've got no women in the rooms and all that business. So I was really, really strict with them, really
Wow.
strict.
And so you stayed in Mullingar. You must like Mullingar?
Yeah, Mullingar was really good to me because what happened is I was able to earn a reputation and gain a reputation
Hmm.
for coaching football,
Hmm.
um, and taking young players and building them and making them better.
Hmm.
So it got me good jobs in Maynooth University and Griffiths College.
Wow.
Which I was really, really pleased about because it's to get those sort of jobs is really, really tough. So um, I was able to do that, and also, I was thankful and grateful to have managed Mullingar Town, um, Mullingar Athletic as well,
Hmm.
and Grange United Football Club. So managed the three most local teams, and it was great experience to be able to manage so many good players, because when you're doing that, people are looking at what your progress is and what you can do and what you can't do. So
Yeah.
a lot of players, a lot of people don't like or didn't like the way that I coach
Okay.
them, or when I say coach them, work them hard. Because to me, if you work hard, you get your gains, and I hope now a lot of them have seen that and will say, yes, you were right.
And how is football in Mullingar at this now? How is Mullingar football or in general?
Well, I don't go and watch Towns so often,
Hmm.
but I've seen them and they've changed a lot. Their football is great. Jacko's done a really good job there. He's doing exactly what I would do, get them playing the ball on the deck,
Hmm.
um, and being pass masters, because when you've got the ball, if the other team can't get it, you're going to win.
Okay.
Okay. If you just kick and run, you're going to lose. So the most important thing is that they're learning how to um, possess the ball and own it and make other teams have to work really hard. It doesn't matter how fit you are, if you're playing against a team who has 60-70% of the ball, then you're not going to beat them. Okay. You might once in a while lose to a team, but majority of the time, you're going to win. I think from what I've seen, they've progressed really, really well over the years, and that's just not from me. That's from the hard work that the players have put in, and what Jacko's done. Jacko's been there, I think, 3 years, 3 or 4 years, and he's done a lot of good work there. And the systems and everything, because I've watched them training and that, and
Hmm.
it's very, very good. He's adapted well to the players and to the the scenarios that you want to be in, and yeah, it's great. I think basically for soccer in Mullingar itself, because you've got Athletic, and what a great club with fantastic facilities. And I think what they've done there, any young player would want to go there and play football or be coached there. Just like Town are now improving with their underage, and I'm really pleased to see that because they never had that. So I think it's going to be a win-win situation for all those clubs.
And the town has changed dramatically in all them years. It's got bigger and bigger and a lot of different nationalities in the town. So in a way, um, football should be absolutely jumping out of its skin in Mullingar. But it's great to know that it's in a healthy spot. One question for you: did you ever see Martin Moore play football?
We used to have Martin used to have this game on the Boxing Day or Christmas Day. It was one of those days where
Right.
all the Moore family came down and we played, and I played in that. But I wouldn't say, not being unkind to Martin, but I wouldn't say he would be a, a soccer player in any way,
Right.
form, or Gaelic player, yes, but not soccer.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, it's in its heart anyway, and he loves the
Yeah,
song. And
he loves it. One thing about Martin, he gives more than 110% in the work he does.
mm,
He's just absolutely phenomenal in what he does, you know. I'm glad that he's actually sharing the load now with other people
yeah.
and not doing everything himself, because he's done so much on his own over the years, you know, and he's a great man to have on your side.
And just finishing off, then your first encounter with Jim Moore. Do you remember that?
Yeah, Joseph, my friend who like I remember when he offered me the job when I was just finishing my level my B badge,
Yeah.
coaching badge, and Joseph said to me, "Well, I thought he was joking at first, you know," and he said to me, "Yeah, but you know, there's a job available to go to Ireland. It's a project. I coach this guy Jim Moore. I coach his kids, you know, and he's got this dream that he wants Mullingar to get into the League of Ireland." And it took a while to sink in, actually. And I thought to myself, because in England at that time, coaching in clubs was very tough. I was lucky; I was coaching at Harrow Borough Football Club, which was in the Ryman Premier League, and I was doing the reserves, and they were playing in the Capital League, which was with all the reserve teams of the professional clubs. So it was a good standard. And so I wasn't scared of taking that step up.
Yeah.
And then Joseph said, "Well, look, you got to meet Jim." And Jim was sort of, he was, how can you put it? Jim was like, he had a dream
Right.
and it wasn't going to get knocked down. He wanted to see that dream
Mm.
materialize, you know. So, you know, very, very quickly, he sort of like said, "Look, we've got to go to Ireland. We've got to fly to Ireland like once or twice a week to have meetings with Michael Hyland, I think it was Hyland, in the FAI." So me, Martin, Jim, and Joseph, we flew over at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I got to know Jim, and he was just a great character, fantastic character.
Mhm.
And he made you believe that these things could happen. You
Exactly.
know?
That was his definitely his character, not to kill your dreams, but to follow your dreams more than anything else.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
And even though he was a staunch Gaelic man for like supported Galway,
mm,
Jim was really, really like he'd seen things develop in England, and he had that dream that he wanted it to happen
yeah,
in Mullingar, you know. So even though it didn't happen,
yeah.
I'm glad that he gave us the opportunity and that he saw what could happen.
Hmm. Well, look, Leroy, from your holiday home in the Dominican Republic, thank you very much for joining us here. And once again, to all the Moore family, we're just chatting to them all there this evening, and everything
Yeah,
is looking really good. We're up in Clark's Bar. We're talking to the Clarks themselves, and everything is shaping up nicely for a super night next Saturday.
yeah. I'd like to say to Carol and all the brothers, Ned, Tom, John, and Martin. I'm sorry. I actually saw Jim before he passed, and I went up to the hospital to see him,
Mm.
and he was full of beans. Like Jim always is. You
Yeah.
know, you know. You could. He would say to you that, "Yeah, I'm fine," and you'd think to yourself, "Well, he's putting on a good show," because like he never looked like he was sick. He was always like that. He was really well, so it was great going up there to see him. And I'm glad that he passed in a happy
Mm.
time, and not an unhappy time, because like Jim was a happy guy.